welcome back to Part of the Internet. I'm Keeyaria, and today we're going to talk about planting a seed. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. So this morning for my Bible study, I read Acts. I have been rereading Acts slowly. It's like my second or third time reading it. And today I realized something that I didn't realize the first couple of times. And I just wanted to point it out. So I will be reading from Acts 17. And if you don't know what happens in Acts, we're basically following Paul. And I'm not going to get into his entire story. It's amazing. I highly recommend you read it. But like I said, we'll be in chapter 17 today. So Paul, Silas, and now Timothy are just going around and spreading the word of Jesus. And they go to a lot of places. So while I was reading chapter 17 this morning, for some reason the end just really hit me, and it was like a light bulb moment, and I really want to read it. So I'm in verse 32. When they heard Paul speak about the resurrection of the dead, some laughed in contempt, but others said, "We want to hear more about this later." That ended Paul's discussion with them, but some joined him and became believers. So this is not the first time that he has talked to people. At this point, he's talked to at least 4 or 5 different groups of people. And every time this actually happened, there was one, the chapter before this, they were jealous of him. And so they basically made up a lie to kick him out. There was a group that actually wanted to kill him. And so the believers told him to leave, and they fled, and actually went with him to make sure he got there safely, which I thought was just amazing. But every time that Paul, Silas, and at this point Timothy was going around speaking about the good news, there was always a group of people that mocked them, was jealous of them, judged them, laughed at him, wanted to kill them, something to that magnitude. But there also was a group of people that listened, that wanted to know more, that became believers, that got baptized and received the Holy Spirit. So them talking wasn't in vain. When it comes to Paul speaking to these people, he still planted a seed in them, regardless if they accepted Jesus or not. So the people who accepted him, their seed grew into a beautiful flower. Their plant turned into becoming a believer, being baptized, receiving the Holy Spirit, all the things. It became very fruitful. But the people who were jealous, who didn't want to listen to anything Paul had to say, people who wanted to kill Paul, those people, even though they didn't turn to believers, they still had that seed because Paul still talked to them. It's kind of how we are today. We get really scared and really nervous to talk to people about Jesus because we don't know how we're going to get perceived. But at the end of the day, even if they do not accept the Lord, or even if they don't understand what's going on, or don't even want to hear anything about it, you're still doing your job because you're still planting that seed. Who knows if today I talk to, let's say, a girl named Jen, right? I talked to Jen maybe in class about Jesus, and she's kind of like, I really don't want to hear about it. That's okay, because that seed is still planted because I talked to her about Jesus. And who knows, maybe 6 months, a year down the line, someone else will talk to her about Jesus. And she's like, I remember this girl 6 months ago telling me about Jesus, but I didn't really want to hear about it. Can you explain to me more? That seed was planted. And so when the next person comes to water that seed, it's already there. It's just ready to plant and bear fruit. I just want to encourage you guys that whenever you are going to speak to someone about the Lord, don't be scared. And don't be scared about what people are going to say. As humans, we care about what other people think about us. But it literally says in the word that people are not going to like us. We are not of this world. We just live in this world. Of course, people are not going to understand Jesus, okay? They're not even going to want to learn anything about the Bible, which is perfectly fine, but still plant that seed, because eventually it will be watered by other Christians, other people who talk to them. Eventually it will plant, and eventually it'll bear fruit. Maybe you can plant a seed to someone by talking to them. It's something really small. It doesn't have to be something huge. It doesn't have to be something scary. It's just whatever the Holy Spirit places on your heart. And if you're scared about what you're going to say, you feel like you're going to fumble on your words, it's okay. Pray and ask the Holy Spirit to guide your words, because he definitely will. And you're going to do great. You're going to do great. I believe in you. Don't be scared. Don't be fearful. Just do it, because just like Paul plants seeds, you can plant many seeds around your community. So this is a really short, to the point one. I hope you guys enjoyed. Please let me know if you have any questions, comments, or concerns. And as always, I hope you're having a good morning, afternoon, or evening whenever you're watching this. And I'll see you next time. Bye.